my name is Major Ellis, and this is Project Morality. Now, so far, I have explained Immanuel Kant, his background, his beliefs, his works, his categorical hypothetical imperatives, his groundwork for the metaphysics of morals, and all of the background information concerning Immanuel Kant. From here on out, I will answer the question that was proposed in the introduction of Project Morality, and that question is, what is morality? So, in order to do that, I will perform the interviews. So for the second portion of this project, I will interview individuals for their respective moral philosophies. Because not everyone will be familiar with what Kantian morality is, for example, I will use specific strategies in my questions to establish the groundwork that he provided through their questions. And I'll do that in a couple of specific ways. Basically, I have 8 questions. And I'll start with the main question. What is morality? I will just straight up ask that question. And not everyone's going to have an answer, but that's where the brilliant part comes in. What is morality? Well, I don't really know what you're talking about. From there, I transition into essentially what the categorical imperative is. And I say, well, look, you may not be Christian, but you've heard of the Christian beliefs, you've heard of the Christian religion. Let's go with, what do you think about the golden rule? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, that's a little bit easier to break down, and that's what Kant said the categorical imperative was. That's what he based his moral philosophy off of. So they're going to be able to give an opinion there. Furthermore, I will then transition a little bit to modernity. I'll say, in modern times, what exactly are we looking at as far as morality? I'm going to start with murder. Why murder? Not because it's taboo, but because it always happens, and we're always trying to decide, was that right? Was that wrong? Was that, in that scenario, could it have been right? In that scenario, was it really wrong? It's always very ambiguous topic. So from there, I'll say the George Zimmerman case versus Trayvon Martin. Who do you feel was in the right? Who do you feel was in the wrong? Should he have shot Trayvon Martin? Should he have called the police? What really should have taken place there? And even if they're not very familiar with the case, they're going to be like, oh, he shouldn't have shot the boy. Oh, he should have shot the boy. That's gonna get them thinking a little bit about modern laws, modern morality. From there, I'm going to transition into the groundworks, maxims that Kant used to build the categorical imperative, and that begins with contemplating suicide. A special talent that you have but you don't use, even though it would better society. LeBron James not playing basketball to get people enjoyment, something like that. Or a doctor who's very talented at removing brain tumors but stops to go work on a farm in Cuba. Just make that up. Not donating to charity, if you have the means, of course. And a false promise to secure a loan, essentially lying to give yourself more money. Now, what does a atheist think about that? What does a Christian think about that? What does a Muslim think about that? Catholic, whatever, non-denominational. What do those maxims, those scenarios, what do those say about a person's particular religion or views or morality, philosophy? By using Kant's actual framework, what he based his off of, to apply to someone else's moral philosophy, we can see where they contrast, where they compare, and the differences, the very fine differences in people's different philosophies, and that's all going to come to light in the conclusion. Now, earlier I briefly mentioned the George Zimmerman versus Trayvon Martin case. I just threw that in there. Now, that's because I wanted people to start thinking about morality in the modern tense, but then I wanted to go back to their framework. And that's when I hit them with the clincher. The clincher is, do laws create morality, or does morality create laws? And essentially, because they're already thinking about modern times, but then they're thinking about a framework of modern day outside of murder, because none of those 4 were about murder, just suicide, that's quite a bit different, then they will finally bring out their view on whether morality is universal, as Kant believed, or if it isn't. So this is the clincher, really. This is the big question. Question number 8. Does morality create laws, or do laws create morality? And that's what's really going to come to light. Now, interviews can be pretty unpredictable. They're quite an untamed beast, if you will. And I'm going to do my best with these questions to control the flow of information. But they're not scripted. Everything that they're saying is just right off the top of their head, whatever they think. So it's completely natural. There's no really prodding except for the questions. I'm not gonna talk about Kant so much as Kant believed this. You probably won't hear me say that but a few times, just because I don't want to influence them by some great German philosopher. Even if they're not familiar with him, that may influence them. So to get really natural responses, I'm just going to say, what do you believe about this? And it's going to be limited to them. I'll come in later and do the work and say, alright, so let's apply Kant to this. Once again, I'm Major Ellis, and this is Project Morality, Sapere Aude, Dare to Know.